What are you doing? It's like a lazy day right now, man. I got Indiana Jones going on in the background. I'm trying to play the new game. Like I have it on my computer, but I've been sick that they don't drop it on the PlayStation 5 yet. Like I'm thinking they're gonna drop the game on all platforms, but apparently went to Xbox and PC first. So I bought it on Steam, but I don't want to play it on Steam. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Anyway, um, hopefully you guys had a interesting day in the marketplace so far. And I wanted to touch base on you for a few things that is being confirmed on the higher time frame, and another thing that I want to talk about on the lower time frame. All right. So people ask me like what this is, and if you've never heard of hemp wick, if you smoke weed and don't use hemp wick, yeah, it's not as fun. It's not as clean, I'll say. All right. Now, anyway, I want to go to my like daily chart. All right. Now, what are we looking at? Now, the last time we spoke, uh, let's get me out the way. What the? Now, last time we spoke, we talked about why Nasdaq was still fucking bullish. All right. And the reason why I'm like all over this thing is because I mean, not just clear daily fair value gap or like the order flow itself is clearly clean on the daily chart. But what I'm saying is, I still have those people who might pop in here and not really understand what I mean about eliminating one side of the marketplace. And if I'm talking about the higher time frame versus the hold on, talking about the higher time frame down to the lower time frame, you'll often have structures like this, right? Where something is clear as day. And I get it. We've been spooling higher this whole time. And the general thought that I get, right, is that I know this is a really popular thought. You're likely thinking that when you're trading 9 times out of 10, that both sides are still possible. And I'm not talking like the way it aggregates up and down, you know what I mean? Roller coaster way. But I'm talking like when it's actually trending. You have to understand that the algorithm doesn't even 50-50 the marketplace half the time. The algorithm is going to favor a certain direction. I'm not talking about just one, two, three candles in a row. No, I'm talking about real bullish environment. What does that mean necessarily? So the reason why I'm focused on bullish gap, right, instead of the sell side gap up here. Now, I want you to understand my annoying ass, right? Bro. All right. Everybody just saw I had the lighter. What the oh, wait. What's that? Oh my I think I found it. But it's not the one I wanted to use. I have like a Bob Marley lighter, but I don't know why. But like, fuck this lighter. Like, fuck this lighter. All right, whatever, man. I'm an Eagles fan. It is what it is. I know where the Hempwick is. Just lost the light for a second. All right. All right. So what I'm saying about the marketplace eliminating both sides, right? When we're in a buy program like this, I want you to understand as a reliable narrator that no, both sides of the marketplace are not actually offered long term. It's not really like a 50-50 debate once you know how to verify it. And so even beforehand, when we were talking all the way down near this area here, right? Going into election week, right? I told everybody on the channel, we've been bullish for a while now and are going to stay that way. Any measure of sell side movement is only going to rebalance gaps and it's going to take out any short term liquidity that is not needed so that we can actually make this move higher. Okay. So when I'm talking about this gap up here, and people are worried that, oh, well, Jay, are you not thinking that we're just going to break this thing? No, we're not going to break that gap. Not to get into the details. But what I will say, this 11:06 November, the Discord and I already had this gap planned out. It's so perfectly mathematically placed in to where we know that the algorithm needs to depend on this. Let's keep it going. But when we talk about pedia rates, right? No, they are not being offered to you both sides. In terms of a puzzle, right? Or story, narrative, plot, whatever you want to call it, right? I want you to really be a narrator with me as we go sideways before we go down to a lower time frame. And what I'm saying is you need to be understanding that this is not a long-term high. It gives you a couple days downward or value gap. Amazing reaction, right? Okay. Now that leads us into the new year. All right. So let's clean up the chart a little bit. Let's take a look at that January again. Ah. So you remember what I told you before, right? Okay. New year, new algo. We're trying to keep track on what's happening in here. Okay. Now, my problem is I need you to operate the gold back levels correctly. Okay. And so the more we talk on season 2 on this channel, it's going to be about a lot of niche little things that I kind of want to talk about, like how to think while you're trading, how to keep yourself organized in terms of objective, how to teach yourself, yo, you know what? This not a reversal, this just a retracement or vice versa. How do you do that if you're not able to eliminate one side of the marketplace? Listen, trying to get that perfect product placement, right? Trying to get sponsored by Gatorade, bro. Bro, we trade so good, about to get sponsored by Gatorade, bro. We'll really be on the Jamaican bobsled team at that point. But what I'm saying is, I really want to see people come into the marketplace and not get so fixated on the intermediate highs and lows, not just on one idea, but having what I call a ladder. Okay. And so it comes from when I was teaching myself, I needed things to grab onto. I needed something to start my narrative. Therefore, I gave myself a rope and I gave myself a ladder. Okay. It sounds funny because again, just like my creativity in my trading, it comes from again being a skateboarder, bro. And oh my god, oh and I got, bro. You see me panic every time, but like it's just because I'm not really paying attention to like where I'm dropping the actual lighter. Like I mean, I'm laying here, but what I'm saying is you need to already come into the chart with something that keeps you grounded as a main idea. Whoops, grounded as a main idea. Okay. And so if we're looking at this dealing range, the reason why let me move myself, the reason why we're on like a 65, 61, and let me hold up real quick. Let me it better be working. All right. Anyway, so obviously we talked about the 2187 recently. That dealing range was obviously enough for us to continue our narrative and talk more about premium versus discount. So if majority of these ranges, right? And I want to, go back and forth between that and 2187. You see my point, bro. You see my point. This gap was mathematically placed in. We knew that this bullish one was not going to break. Yes, we have been bullish for a while, but the problem is retail traders and even other ICT traders are looking for this sell side gap to actually fucking do something. And I'm talking like all in here, right? So every time we stepped into that gap last 2 days, what do you think brand new ICT traders are doing? They're looking at this gap up here. Hold on, let me bring your attention to that. And they're looking at this gap here. All right. Yes, we get it. It worked. It did work. We did that. But when we talk about the puzzle, you have to then come in for yourself and not just decide, yo, it's up, yo, it's down. You need to come in as a reliable narrator and understand why it's going down. Assign a why. And I'm not just talking about liquidity, that's a basic function. I'm talking about why is it going down in a buy program? If you're so sell side, where can you expect it? Where can we expect it? Like we said, we had play on this fair value gap here the first time, right? So even a lot of my students will come onto the daily chart and see this in the Discord and be like, "Yo, Jay, you keep talking about this fucking gap." Yes, because we're not done with it. I totally understand where someone else is like, "Well, no, this is the new narrative. Buying is over now. Let's go. We are downside." But I really want you to think, where can you actually expect it? Let me downshift this thing. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Go to my community tab. Look how long ago that we called this level. It was in front of our face, bro, the entire time. And I already talked on this channel about how algorithms, whether it's algo one, two, doesn't matter. They are dealing range specific. All right. So what that means, yes, I can see that all the way back down here, we had an algo too. Right. And so the reason why I like this sort of deal here is even if you're watching this whole uprun, right? You know where the terminus is. Now watch. All right. Now the reason why I was really fucking with this is because you have to be slightly creative. Although someone might be a little stickler about it. Hey, well, Jay, I didn't see a fair value on my daily chart here. So this made me uncomfortable. I didn't feel like buying this. I didn't think that was right. So all this was valid to me for long term selling. I'm also thinking about power of three liquidity on the downside instead of the upside because they made it to an EQ and left this open down here. But that's what I mean. You need to be understanding the underlying context. And the more that we talk this week, bro, I'm holding it in my damn hand and I'm trying to find the light. That one was on me, stoned right there. But I'm telling you, man, I don't know. I think it's just because like my bed is real big, and like when you're on like a queen size mattress, it's so fucking like hard to fucking find shit. Honestly, in my last apartment, right, it was the same kind of deal, but my bed was a little higher off the ground. So when girls had to come to my crib, bro, and you know me, I played a long game. Um, Girls would come over, and be like, "Damn, your room is so big, but why don't you have a sofa or why don't you have like a bunch of chairs so you can sit on my bed?" Duh, you feel me? And it's funny that when I meet girls and they say like, "Yo, like, what do you do for work?" I'm like, "Oh, I trade and whatnot. I be on YouTube and things like that." I think what's frustrating for people is like, and I've talked about the experience of being like a black trader, right? It's a very different experience. And I understand where like for a lot of my peers, like they knew about trading. Like I really only knew about trading 10 years ago, bro. And I'm only 32. I'm not even 33. I'll be 33 in the summer. But listen, as much as I rant, right? My whole point is like, listen, we appreciate ICT and he did so much for us, giving us market structure, naming the PD arrays. So we have something in terms of identification here. But this is what I want to say. When you're operating some of these things down here, somebody else might look at the level and say, you know what? I don't see an exact fair value gap right in my fair value gap. So I'm having trouble verifying this as algo too. You know what I'm saying? So when I have certain things like this, I feel as though the bulk of the algorithm, you need to focus on these two things. And it's actually very simple. So, no, I'm not concerned about every single thing that needs to be in a level. I'm talking like perfect. No, like, yes, it will be there. But the breaker, how you're going to find it, do you see how this is a breaker here and it's referencing this swing high all the way over here, right? Now, the breaker level is here, but it goes down just a tad bit so it can operate your breaker correctly, right? And that's fine. That's totally fine. But you need to also understand how a breaker works and how it visually looks. Therefore, the function is not going to be missed by you, even on a higher time frame like this. Now, hold on. Let me again, when we're talking about pathways, I really only care about, bro. You see how my brain does that? I go right back to being that focused that quickly. It's ADD, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean ADHD, but I mean, I guess I'm not as hyper anymore because now I'm older, right? It just comes out as like my brain moves faster than my mouth, and I said that to my friend earlier today, and he knows my personality, and like I really don't think trading's for everybody, but again, experience as the black trader, you know, never good in school, but I will say if you want to be good at this, anybody could really do it. You just need to have a passion for it to the point where like you understand already that you're watching this video and you're trying to understand algorithms now. Hats off to you, to be honest. It's difficult. And even though all this stuff is fractal down here, the reason why I was feeling so good about rhythm 2 on the 2187. And then again, we also talked about again how this is mathematically placed in. Right? Election week volatility does nothing but give us a fair value gap. So yes, when we're selling this all like down middle of November, we understand what we're doing necessarily. No, we're not holding this past this gap. It's not going to work. Then we start taking buys again. But understand exactly what we're talking about. Even a basic concept that you learned on this channel, the 6561 creates a better wireframe. Therefore, we can see this as a buy side liquidity. We can see this as a fair value gap lingering near the right GB level, right? And when you also look on the downside now, it looks ridiculous to even imagine this as a real fair value gap because you're not even in a premium, I'll say that, fair value level. You know what I'm saying? I'd be more concerned about it if you found it here. You feel what I'm saying? But listen, we talk about the higher time frame, but I want to bring you down a little bit. All right. I'm trying to get sponsored by Gatorade. Mm. Drink Gatorade. Hold up. Oh. I don't know why I got no, it's not the lighter. Stop making fun of me. I have the lighter. I was more concerned about the water, is what I was thinking about. Um, you got to make sure you're hydrated. Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring you down to a lower time frame is because I'm showing you the perspective of trying to be on a higher time frame and still look at a super big as shit daily range. Right? You got to bring it down. You got to bring it down. All right. Now, when you're watching this, right, this looks like it's clean and clear when you're trying to operate even a break in of a new dealing range. Okay. 729 still confirms on like the actual week that we're trading now that we still want some bullish stuff to do here. All right. So I want you to look at this. All right. I want to downshift this really quick. I want you to watch this. All right. Now we got to go to an hour. Okay. +1, I got to go -1. There we go. All right. Now listen, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? And I get the question a lot. Jay, how can I tell which algorithm is running? What did I say? Dealing range specific. Is that an algo one? Yeah. Guess what? This is my thing here. All right. Whether it's algo one or whether it's algo two, I still need you to see that this is bullish. All right. And again, these yellow lines to explain to anybody who's new to my channel that these are just separating my week for me. So this is last week, current week, right? Current week. And this is the week before that. So like the weed went out, bro. The weed went out, dog. We gotta like the weed, dog. We gotta like the weed, dog. It's normally around the time of the day Not just annoying myself. But I normally run out of backwoods around this time of the day, and I gotta go grab some more. Smoke papers too throughout the day, and I'm smoking woods and joints. Sometimes you smoke a joint and the wood at the same time, and just hang out in the trade. Now, the reason why we can do that, right, is again, I want you to see the context that we just identified that the 729 paired with a stop run. Okay. What do I view on that? Suit. It's a turtle. Turtle soup. So we turtled this. Oh, that's annoying. Just apply a little actual line. Say turtle. All right. Now we turtle soup this low of this week here, and going into like right after January, right? New year, new algo. So to complete this algorithm one that we've been going nuts on, right? 729. But I want you to understand that when we're operating this dealing range, right? We're gonna pop in some of these days here. Okay. Now down here, January 15th, right? Watch. What can you find that makes this easy the more you go up the ladder? These are ropes and ladders, okay? Every time that you come up here, you are operating brand new liquidity. It's leaving power of three liquidity inside of your dealing range. So you can tell that, yo, I know, even from the first one here, even from this one, yo, hold on now. Back to fair value. You see what I'm saying? Left some power through liquidity, and we murk that level next time we get there. Same thing here. And even though you're coming down here, what is it really doing? Like textbook definition of what is bullish. It's only coming down to fill in gaps, take out new highs. Okay, that's whatever. But this is my thing, right? I want you to operate correctly. We talked about what? Let's pop this down. All right. Simple perspective. We talked about these weeks being a certain way, right? Did I say M D and what's cycle number four? X cycle. I told you you need to be ready for D and X cycles. That's where that real volatility plays in. And you have to be ready for it. Plan accordingly. Since this is a distribution week, the more that we jump into this thing, every single day, you need to be going for gold. Not every day, but this is the week where if you want to like slightly you know, really bring your A game, this is the time. All right. So like obviously navigate this. We get it. Trump just got inaugurated. Okay. Everyone's going to be head over heels about that. But we are operating the algorithm. We understand that these things are played into what we are already working with. So when you see something like this, right, and this is the weekend, okay? So let's start all the way through. All right. We're going to go down here, 5 minute chart. All right. Now here, J style version of the Judas swing. Now I understand how ICT teaches it. I'm not doing that. Um, I'm doing it a little different. All right. You want to operate Asia? Do it this way. All right. We understand. If you're in my Discord, you understood why this is going to move anyway. So I don't have to spend time on that. You understand why. But when we talk about how, okay, I want you to operate this clearly. All right. Even if it's a Sunday, you could do it perfectly. Right. You understand where to find highs and lows and why. You understand our situation. Now, when we draw this out in time, right? Do we ever get back there? Close, but no dice, my guy. And I understand why this will be hard for somebody. Because if you're not operating time correctly, this is going to make anybody anxious. You know what I'm saying? And so I understand over here, right? I talk a lot about this. You can operate like kind of the opposite of New York. So if you want to just do because we're in like a Q1 right now, start at 7 o'clock, operate your Asia. And to be honest, it's really like Judas or not to Judas. That is the question. Okay. So we're going to say 7 to 11. This is your time window. This is your optimal trade entry. You get tapped in, nice little 8 o'clock retracement, perfect buy side liquidity. And so when you operate all the dumb shit that you get sent through in here, I understand where it looks scary to most people. But if you operate your order block or you operate your order block again, you're not going to be so concerned about the bottoms of these. You're more concerned not about the actual annoyingness of the visual here. You're going to be so focused on buy side liquidity as a DOL versus this being an actual possible attack. And again, going to what I said earlier, bringing it right back full circle. You have to eliminate one side of the marketplace and understand why. You operate time, you operate functionality. Even if you miss the kill zone and you realize, hey, yo, you know what? I'm slightly outside of it. Okay. You will have just realized what's happening. So you take the trade. Yo, Jay, it's not in my time window. Fuck, I missed it. No, you didn't. Well, even if I'll say it like this, if you actually thought that this was going to be a more consolidated piece because we understand Asia, right? It's only two forms of identification that it's going to give us. All right. Maybe you thought this was a consolidation to not really move as swiftly as it did toward that latter end of it. And again, I understand where you can come in during a London like that, you know what I'm saying? And find you the real volatility going into that distribution cycle, fractal version. Right? Notice how I'm just holding it like it's just a torch at this point. But what I'm saying is, I need you to be a reliable narrator. And it bothers me when you guys don't narrate. And I'm not saying you're not trying to, but what I'm saying is, don't just come in, take a small loss in here because maybe you didn't see the direction, number one, right? Maybe you didn't see what was the fake before the real. Fake down to go up, right? Big ass Nike sign. I won't explain more than that. But what I'm saying is, we talk about things that could be long term in nature, intermediate term in nature, and you can use that. Hence your order block fair value gap combo. Anyway, when you get to a more exciting piece to this, right? Now it's about New York, obviously. So how do you navigate this? You don't take out that Asia, but what do? You realize you need something to grab onto. This buy side liquidity pool here, this is what I call a ladder. Okay. Yes, we understand that London could be the high of the day. And this could potentially be a very sharp run. And it would be logical for us to assume this would take that Asia, like I said. Very interesting target 9 times out of 10 based on sessions, right? A bulk of your liquidity will be found here in Asia. But this is not that. And I won't go into why. My Discord understands why. You understand what's happening here. So when you get into this New York cycle, right? And it's funny because they know how I'm speaking right now. I'm not saying certain key terms for a reason. You operate liquidity. We already talked about it's bullish on the higher time frame. Algorithms are bullish. Any real downside stuff is trying to rebalance things or scare you. For those who even trade the CFD, if you're in Europe right now, I guarantee you this Trump move scared the hell out of you. I get it. I get it. But this is what you're going to understand. Look at how it gets worked into this. This is just confirming how bullish we really are. It's not going to take those lows. It's not interested. They're looking to move this money right now. And this is what I mean. When you operate in some of these areas here, right? Buy side liquidity from the Monday. That's actually jump up another time frame. All right. This is your overall planning for the week. Obviously, we are intraday traders. Don't tell me, oh, Jay, well, I wouldn't have been able to see this low down here until up here. I wouldn't have trusted it. There's no real range left. Bro, come on now. Yes, you would have seen it. This is my thing. You need to operate correctly, just understanding what side is fully eliminated and what is I'm talking real, like I'm talking manipulation, man. No, I'm serious. Literally. Hold on. Literally. It's manipulation. I'm not just saying that. AM. And what you ultimately get left with? A D cycle. Come on. I get it. I get it. I'm telling you, if this is your first year doing some of this stuff, wait till next year. You gonna feel so OP with this shit, man. And I'm just a nigga talking. Like, this stuff is not hard. I'm gonna sign to light the weed on that one. I don't know, man. You tell me. Do you see what I mean now about being a reliable narrator? Understanding that there's a context and that you can use a rope to grab onto something. Hey, you know what? I know that this is manipulation. I know that this is typically too far too fast, typically a fake direction. What can I do with that? You do nothing at the time if you didn't get the sell move here. And yes, some of us caught it. I'll say it like that. There are ways to find these. How do we know that's there? Listen, watch. Do you see how we're on the 729 and it happens to be in the liquidity void level? I told you before. Where did these large candles come from? Louis Vuitton, bro. Where else can he come from? You go shopping after that. You got to understand how to use these levels, man. It's deep. And again, look parallel. This is how I turn the levels off and don't need them. I understand based on previous price action exactly what price action I'm expecting when we get parallel there again, regardless of direction. Ooh, that was a lot. What do I mean by that? Listen, what is that? It's a liquidity void. Stay with me now. Let's go down here. Yo, I love those memes, bro. They're so fucking funny, man. Listen, are you surprised? Watch this. Watch. Watch. Why in the hell? Just so I can annoy you about it. All right. Down here. All right. This reminds me of that Tupac song, Picture Me Rolling. He'd be like, Picture me rolling. And like the feeling to that song, actually go listen to that song as soon as you done this lecture. This would this make you feel like my 500 bins. I got no love for these niggas. There's no need to be friends after you hit the LV level. Because I come in and look at the accuracy on that. Hold on, let me zoom in for dramatic effect. Let me zoom in for dramatic effect. You hit that LV level, bro. And what happens? It's off to the races. You gotta understand the levels and their functionality. Now let's add some time to it. Still coming from that LV. What else do you expect? Movement, right? And like I said, if you understand that we're in that X week, this is already the expected price action that we had already planned for. You're not really worried or just sitting there like lazing this thing. Whoa. If you're a new trader, this is going to be exciting. It's going to feel like, yo, I've never had something move this far this fast. I understand it. And we operate today. I'll leave you with a small gem. All right. Same thing we do every day, Pinky. What's that, Brian? You try to take over the world one order block at a time. You gotta hit the old beezy, bro. To the liquid. Fuck up the Squidward. You send that shit through the hurdle. What do you get? More liquid. What do you get? Breaker. Wow. It's like that meme. He'd be like, oh my God. Oh my God. But you gotta be a reliable narrator. You have to understand this stuff. The moves start and stop at a specific time. What time does this move end up here? The time is supposed to fucking end. 12 o'clock, bro. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. That's all I have, dude. That's it. That's all I have. Is there a way to get in this thing? Sure, Jay. There's a way I could have got in this thing. Very value. Feel what I'm saying? Beside liquid. You could have got it at London, got the re-entry right at the kill zone. Next video, we will talk more about some macros. So you guys will be intact with the macros. And just go smoke a blunt. If you didn't get the move how you wanted today, just go smoke a blunt, smoke it off. All right. Don't worry about it. It's a move every day, bro. It's like a bus. It should just be running every day, bro. It's just an algorithm. You really didn't miss anything. Shit deep, isn't it? Trading and shit. Liquidity void levels. News. It's a self-replicating system. You got to understand the vector points and the overall syntax. The time-based, self-learning, self-adapting system filled with parent and child orders. Oh, you doing that to sound smart, ain't you? Man, shut the fuck up. All right. I'll see y'all later. Fuck around and I don't know. Smoke another blunt.